I believe when we were last together, Bilbo had just had an unexpected visit from Gandalf. Gandalf had just left. Bilbo was getting used to the silence. The next day, he had almost forgotten about Gandalf. He did not remember things very well unless he put them down on his engagement tablet. Like this: Gandalf, tea, Wednesday. Yesterday, he had been too flustered to do anything of the kind. Just before tea time, there came a tremendous ring on the front doorbell, and then he remembered. He rushed and put on the kettle, and put out another cup and saucer, and an extra cake or two, and ran to the door. "I am so sorry to keep you waiting," he was going to say, when he saw that it wasn't Gandalf at all. It was a dwarf, with a blue beard tucked into his golden belt, very bright eyes under his dark green hood. As soon as the door was opened, he pushed inside, just as if he had been expected. He hung his hooded cloak on the nearest peg. "Dwalin, at your service," he said with a low bow. "Bilbo Baggins at yours," said the hobbit, too surprised to ask any question for the moment. When the silence that followed had become uncomfortable, he added, "I am just about to take tea. Pray come and have some with me." A little stiff, perhaps, but he meant it kindly. And what would you do if an uninvited dwarf came and hung his things up in your hall without a word of explanation? They had not been at table long. In fact, they had hardly reached the third cake when there came another, even louder ring at the bell. Lamb. "Excuse me," said the hobbit, and off he went to the door. "So you have got here at last." And that was what he was going to say to Gandalf this time. But again, it was not Gandalf. Take a look. Before we were so rudely interrupted. "Excuse me," said the hobbit, and off he went to the door. "So you got here at last." And that was what he was going to say to Gandalf this time, but again it was not Gandalf. Instead, there was a very long, old-looking dwarf on the step with a white beard and a scarlet hood, and he too hopped inside as soon as the door was open, just as if he had been invited. "I see they have begun to arrive already," he said, when he caught sight of Dwalin's green hood hanging up. He hung his red on one next to it, and said, "Balin, at your service," he said with his hand on his breast. "Thank you," said Bilbo with a gasp. It was not the correct thing to say, but they had begun to arrive, and flustered him badly. He liked visitors. He liked to know them before they arrived, and he preferred them to ask himself. He had a horrible thought that the cakes might run short, and then he, as the host, he knew his duty and stuck to it however painful, he might have to go without. "Come along in and have some tea," he managed to say after taking a deep breath. "A little beer would suit me better, if it is all the same to you, my good sir," said Balin with the white beard. "But I don't mind some cake. Seed cake, if you have any." He did not, mind you. "Lots," Bilbo found himself answering, to his own surprise, and he found himself scuttling off too to the cellar to find a full pint of beer, and then to a pantry to fetch 2 beautiful round seed cakes, which he had baked that afternoon for his little supper morsel. You see, he was very surprised by their attention, for the room was in fact black. In a hobbit hole, there's no light to be had at all. The only light in this glorious hobbit hole came from a lamp, which he... And that, my friends, is where we will end for this evening. Thank you for joining us.